Hi there, my name is Ben Howe, and I do a number of things in the musical business. Among those, I run a record label called Art Chill Recordings, and we've been going for about 11 years and released more recent artists include Street Chant, Surf City, Ghost Wave, and over the years we've done artists such as The Clean, Don McGlashan, The Bats, and many others. That's my first thing. Another thing I do is I am business development manager for Independent Music New Zealand, which is an organisation representing around about 80 New Zealand independent record labels, ranging from small self-released artists to quite big labels that have albums in the charts and high-profile, well-known artists. So I do that some of the time, and I also tour international bands through Mystery Girl Presents, which is a touring company. I guess most recent tours I've done were Band of Horses, Broken Social Scene, that sort of a thing. And I'm also one of the partners of the New Zealand Laneway Festival. So, and I'm sure I do a few other things as well. But that's the four pillars that I can start off with. So on the 28th of May, at the Auckland Museum, I'm one of their speakers at the New Zealand Music Month Summit, which is a whole group of people and panels talking about the overall theme being how to make money from music, which is a difficult question which we will struggle and attempt to find some kind of answer to, or at least a partial answer. But there are some pretty interesting speakers, not on the panel that I'm speaking on. Well, they are interesting as well, but other speakers on other panels. There's a couple of people from Australia. There's Brett Murray from the Harbour Agency, which is probably Australia's biggest local booking agency, and they book a lot of really great. Actually, he's from Artist Voices, the agency he was previously of Harbour Agency, but they tour a lot of big name Australian acts and also some well known New Zealand ones. And on top of that is Graham Ashton or Asho. He is one of the partners in the Big Sound Music Festival, which is like a mini South by Southwest or CMJ that takes place in Brisbane. He books the artists and the speakers, and he also does a lot of promo. He's done some work for me in Australia with Street Chant and various other bands. So both those people will be interesting. And then there's another guy, Mark Rogers, who's based in New Zealand but does a lot of promo in the UK and is quite well connected in sort of UK press, media, radio. So I'm definitely quite interested to hear them speak. And then there's various people we know, like John Toogood from She Had is going to talk about songwriting, and numerous other interesting people. The promoters one will be interesting. That's Brent Eccles and Savina Kim are going to talk about touring bands and that sort of a thing, and I might sit in the crowd and heckle them and try and ask some curly questions if I can. So the panel that I'm on is specifically about how to make money from music and thinking outside the box. I think when everyone's downloading stuff and wanting music for free, and so I'm not sure whether we will find the final solution to that, but I guess we'll be talking about sort of new media and online stuff related to the sort of massive changes in the music industry, and even though I'm a record label, it's a valid question: are record labels useful and valid anymore? What's different about the music industry now than before? And I suppose speaking from my own experience, I guess I'll be talking about the ways in which Art Chill has changed and the advantages of it, of the new digital environment, making things easier to do things all around the world on the one hand, but on the other hand there are challenges because people are not buying records and CDs from stores like they used to. So I guess we'll talk about all that kind of a guff, and there's also Jan Hellriegel from Native Tongue is on that panel, and they're a publishing company, so I'm sure they'll talk about synchronizing your music into film and television programs, which is a pretty key income stream now for record labels and artists and publishers, and so I suppose a lot of the conversation will be about all those peripheral and what used to be peripheral aspects of making money in the music industry that are now increasingly central, I think, for artists to make a living from music. A couple of the other panels I think that will be pretty interesting on the day. Nicole Duckworth, who is Fat Freddy's Drop's manager, apparently does a really interesting presentation. She did it before at another seminar on how they ran Fat Freddy's Drop as a business, and the successes that they had, but also the sort of economic decisions behind decisions such as why they decided not to go to Coachella. And Fat Freddy's Drop is the exception to the rule that everybody always drops in as an example, and I think it's quite interesting to hear what she has to say about it from her point of view. So that should be cool. And then I think there's going to be a bit of talk about you have to go overseas to succeed, and I think that is an interesting discussion because in my experience you probably up to a degree do, and in my experience it's actually a lot easier to do now than it was say 5 years ago, and that's one of the great things about the the new age of where you can of the online world, that sort of the breakdown of different territories has changed quite massively. So I'd be interested to hear what other people have to say about that as well. So yes, we'll hopefully see you along at the New Zealand Music Month Summit on the 28th of May at the Auckland Museum. Starts at 10 a.m. With myself and a bunch of highly fascinating music industry colleagues, and goes through till around about 5 or 6 with all kinds of interesting seminars, and I'm sure the excellent Cheese on Toast will post the details on the website for you to get more information.